folks, I'm Natasha and this video is going to be about my Booktube-A-Thon TBR. And I'm just going to talk to you guys about all the books that I want to read for the Booktube-A-Thon this year. For those of you who don't know, a Booktube-A-Thon is this little like reading-a-thon thing that happens on Booktube. And this year it's running from July 23rd to July 29th. And basically the community sort of gets together and has certain little like objectives, little challenges as well, and then everyone sort of reads their ass off for a week. So this is my first year doing it, and they put out 7 different objectives for different books, and so this is my stack of 7 books here of my TBR for the readathon. And so I'm going to go through them, sort of talk to you guys why I picked them based on the objectives. But if you guys want more information about Booktube-A-Thon, I'll leave the link in my thingy down below, linking you right to the Booktube-A-Thon page so that you can get more information if you're curious. Booktube-A-Thon runs for 7 days, and so it's sort of suggested that you read 7 books. There's also 7 different book challenges as well. It just helps you, just to kind of help you pick which books you should read. So I'm going to go ahead and sort of read through them. It's pick a book with a person on the cover, pick a hyped up book, finish a book in a day, pick a book where the character is different from yourself, read a book entirely outdoors, read a book that you bought entirely for the cover, and then the last challenge is to read 7 books in the week. You can kind of choose whether or not you want to read 7 books. You can pick several books that hit a couple of the check marks in there. I just went ahead and picked 7 because my goal is to actually read 7 books. We'll see if that happens, but I did want like a different book for each one of the objectives. The first challenge is to pick a book with a person on the cover, and so the one that I picked is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So this obviously has, I'm assuming, the main character, or what we're supposed to believe the main character is, on the cover. And this is a book that I recently hauled, so you guys may have heard me talk about most of these slightly, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. But yeah, I picked this one because from what I can tell it's sort of like a light summary read, which I think would be really good for like Booktube-A-Thon, like smack dab at the end of sort of July. This talks about Laura Jean, who has a box that she keeps letters in for all the boys that she's liked or loved, and eventually those letters get sent out, and then now she's sort of dealing with all these different guys in her life sort of responding back to the fact that she's written these letters about them. I think it sounds really cute. It sounds pretty fluffy. It's not very long, or is it? Long enough. So it's 350 pages, but I think I should be able to finish this quickly if it's a more like light fluffy read. So that is the first book that I picked in the challenge because it's got a person on the cover. This one is also a fairly hyped up book, so really if I don't end up getting to all these books, I could at the very least tackle 2 challenges in one by reading just this one. But the book that I picked up for my hyped up book is one that I bought entirely based on suggestions from Booktube, and the book is This Song Will Save Your Life by Leela Sales. So when I unhauled this, I didn't know too much about it other than that there was a teenage girl who takes up DJing as a hobby. I've since read a little bit more about the actual book, and it basically talks about a 15-year-old who's trying to rework her social life and to try to be cool. And so she discovers like an underground dance club and DJing and gains friends with that, but then I guess it gets sort of disrupted by her real world. So yeah, so this sounds more like a coming of age story, and again, something like sort of light. I've heard this deals with some darker subjects, and so I don't know. I have a feeling it might be a little bit darker in some aspects, but this is what I picked for number 2 challenge, which is picked a book that was hyped up. Up next is finish a book in a day. I picked my smallest book from my recent haul. I realize now that most of these books are from my recent haul, but right now I'm actually hauling books mostly for fall. A lot of thrillers and stuff, which isn't really what I want to read during that week, not to mention most of the books I have are like 600, 700 pages, and so I wanted to pick some of my sort of lighter, smaller, fluffier reads, just to make it feel like I might be able to get through 7 books this week. So the one that I picked for read a book in a day is Chasing Jupiter. This also has a person on the cover, which again, if I don't get to the one that I picked, it sort of knocks out 2 challenges in one. I basically picked this because it's only about 225 pages. I can very likely get through this in a day. So this is a short book, but the back, now that I've had a chance to read it, sounds really interesting. So it's set in the 1960s, and it's a teenage girl who, her parents are going through financial struggles, and her sister's sort of like a hippie, And then she also has a brother who, it's sort of reading from the back of the book, might have a little bit of mental challenges, and he wants to build a rocket. So she helps to fundraise money for that, and he ends up getting in an accident. So that is just like, boom, sort of compacted into a little book. So I think this is going to be quick, but then also jam-packed full of stuff, which is typically the books that I can read quickly, so I'm hoping that I'm able to finish this one in a day. The fourth challenge is to pick a book with a character who is very different from yourself, and for that I picked a book that I'm just most excited to read in general. This is one that I'm like just itching to get my hands on, and this is None of the Above. And I talked about this in my haul as well, that the main character is intersex, and upon reading more of the inside, it talks about a teenage girl named Kristen who's voted homecoming queen. She has a boyfriend, and she's sort of ready to take it to the next level with him. I'm assuming sex. So she finds out by going to her doctors that she's intersex, so she has male chromosomes and male parts. So then she's dealing with that, but then it also gets leaked to her entire school that she's intersex as well. And this last line in the little fold here got me, and it says, the incredibly compelling novel is sensitively told. None of the Above is a thought-provoking novel that explores what it means to be a boy, a girl, or something in between. I think this is going to be very interesting because I have no experience with that, but I'm curious about it, and I want to learn more from like that perspective. And yeah, I think it's a character very different from myself, dealing with things that I personally won't have to ever deal with. So I want to gain more knowledge through this narrator. So that is the one that I'm picking for a character that is different from me. Next up is read a book entirely outdoors. It has been rainy and dark and gross here, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to complete this challenge, but I did want to pick up a book that was smaller, also one that I wanted to read now. And so the one that I picked was The Smell of Other People's Houses. This one could very well go into my next challenge, which is a book that I bought pretty much because of the cover. But this one is nice and short, again about 225 pages. I think I'll be able to bring a chair outside of my patio and read this. This has to do with 4 different teenagers growing up in Alaska, and that says that 4 different lives are about to become entangled. And it says Ruth wants to be remembered, Dora wishes she was invisible, Alice can't bring herself to leave, and Hank is running away. They live in Alaska on the cold edge of America, where each one must find the strength and courage and heart to survive. So from what I can tell, this sort of has like a timeless classic quality. I think it might be nice to like go outside to read a book about being in people's houses. I don't know, something about that. But it's also nice and short, so I'm very excited for this book. Next up is a book that I picked just for the cover. This is one that I just hauled yesterday that I picked entirely because of the cover. It's that beautiful like material that just feels nice, and I was at Value Village and I saw this, and it just says like The Humans, and I picked it because of the spine. Because I like space and stuff, so I picked it up. This sounds so much fun that I'm like, ooh, I want like a fun book for this read-a-thon. So it says here that when an extraterrestrial visitor arrives on Earth, his first impressions of the human species are less than positive. Taking the form of Professor Andrew Martin, a prominent mathematician at Cambridge University, the visitor is eager to complete a gruesome task assigned to him and hurry back home to the utopian world of his own planet, where everyone enjoys immortality and infinite knowledge. He's disgusted by the way humans look, what they eat, and their capacity for murder and war, and he is equally baffled by the concept of love and family. But as time goes on, he starts to realize that there may be more to this weird species than he's been led to believe. Disguised as Martin, he drinks wine, reads poetry, develops an ear for rock music, and a taste for peanut butter. Slowly, unexpectedly, he forges bonds with Martin's family, and in picking up the pieces of the professor's shattered personal life, he begins to see hope and beauty in the human's imperfections and to question the mission that brought him here. So yeah, so I think this is going to be a really fun read, told from the perspective of an extraterrestrial discovering humans. I mean, that is like my bae, is this book. It's also fairly tiny as well, like it's about 260 pages, so I have a feeling I'll be able to read this quickly, especially if it sounds like interesting. It sounds really fun. So this is one that I picked up based on the cover, read the insert, and was like, have to buy this. And then lastly in the week is just to read 7 books, and so I picked a 7th book just to add on. This is The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I talked about this one a little bit as well. These are about sort of outsider kids that live in a world where everyone else has a superpower and is the chosen one, but they're not. And so it kind of talks about their lives not being chosen ones. So yeah, I think this would be a fun way to just sort of wrap up the week. You can see I'm keeping things fairly light and fluffy. Some of these might be a little bit darker though, just because I like sort of real world interesting issues when I'm reading, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through all of these books in a week. We shall see. Currently it's about the 12th of July and I've read 10 books, so almost a book a day. So I'm doing pretty good with that, but it'd be different when I'm sort of like, I want to say forced to read, but I have like a readathon, like read. Let me know in the comments down below if you're participating in Booktube-A-Thon, if you have any ideas for it, what your current sort of TBR is. Definitely check it out if you want to do it. I think it's fun. I think it sort of like pushes people to read, which I like. And yeah, so I do hope you guys enjoy this video, and until my next one, I will talk to all you soon.